know why Messi is the best player I ever seen in my life? Because he's a competitor, he's an animal.
What happens when a talented player playing in one of the biggest clubs in the world is paired with a coach whose brain is nothing short of brilliance? Lionel Messi, the little wonder, wasn't enough to give Barcelona what they desperately needed: trophies. After 2 years of trophy doubt, former captain and manager of the Catalonia giant B team, Pep Guardiola, rose through the ranks to manage a discombobulated super team. With him came a formation that will forever change football, a strategy that made Barcelona the first team to win 6 trophies in a season, and all these happened in his debut season for the club. But it all started in one day, a day that Barcelona inflicted their biggest victory on the home of their arch-rival, and the pioneer of this onslaught was 22-year-old Messi. What was this new position? Why was Messi the right player to spearhead this new football revolution? You see, Messi has always been a player to watch. By combining his marvelous dribbling, praiseworthy speed, passing that defies physics, impeccable shooting, and quick thinking, he'd have been able to get past the defenses of most clubs, lining up passes where most wouldn't have seen a chance to move. By doing this, he cemented his name as one of the biggest attackers of the era from a young age, going on to attain legend status. However good he was as a youngster hoping to win trophies, there was more to this young player, if only he could find a coach who matched his level of brilliance. Barca's management was desperate to unleash the beast in Messi and make the club great again, so they brought on Guardiola as the coach for the club. Within a year of filling the position of coach for the Blaugranes, the genius idea that would change the game of football forever was born. This was the false 9 position. You might be thinking, what makes false 9 so special? How could it have changed football? The false 9 is a football tactic that has been around longer than Barcelona, but didn't gain popularity until Pep had Messi use it in a match against Madrid. It involves placing a forward in a position that allows the striker to drop back into their half of the field to get the ball, create passing chances, and shatter defenses. As a false 9, the player is either placed as a centre forward or attacking midfielder. Using this strategy, forwards are no longer tied to the front, where they have to wait for the ball to get to them as usual. Instead, they are allowed to return as deep as the midfield, sometimes further, to receive passes before laying up the assist for teammates or going to score themselves. Another benefit of doing this is that when a striker moves on the field, it's the duty of defenders to follow. But by following the forward, defenders leave openings in the post for the opposition to take advantage of. The positioning of the false 9 causes confusion for defenders, who are unsure what to do between following the striker or staying back. Considering this, you might be tempted to think, that's it. It looks easy for something that's said to have revolutionized football. But here's a tiny piece of advice. Don't make that mistake. There's more to the technique than that. For a false 9 to work, the person playing the position needs to have players who have a sharp sense of placing on the field, so that when the chances for scoring come up, they'll be able to position themselves where the passes are coming. But more than that, the false 9 needs a player with a skill set that not many possess. A false 9 needs to have timing skills that allow them to know when to move back and ball control that helps cut off tension that defenders will bring when tackling them. Apart from these two, the player will be able to function better if they're great at dribbling, have a keen awareness of player positions, the speed to run at the right time, and the most important job for any forward: finishing. Are you getting the context of how demanding the position is now? Seeing as the player will be in charge of combining multiple skills to create chances, a false 9 is quite literally the center of the team's attack. More than these, there's another skill a false 9 has to possess for functionality to be possible: stamina. False 9s are all over the field, moving about in order to get chances or create one. Sometimes they have to take the forward positions when dropping back isn't helping create chances. All of these movements, which are usually quick and precise, require stamina to keep up. After considering all these, do you still think it's an easy technique? I said earlier that Messi shattered Real Madrid using this tactic, but how did he do it?
Pep me llamó un día antes del Clásico, me hizo venir a la ciudad deportiva.
Pep cambió el sistema y le dijo a Henry que jugara entre lateral y central y a Eto'o entre lateral y central.
para comentarme que íbamos a cambiar la posición.
La superioridad numérica la hicimos con el falso 9, que venía Messi a incorporarse en el mediocampo.
Que habían decidido hacer algo nuevo.
That's when that fake 9 whole thing started.
Game day 34, May 2nd, 2009. 80,000 fans had gathered at Santiago Bernabéu to watch Spanish giant clubs Barcelona and Real Madrid clash for another of the usual tension-packed clashes. There was no need to ask how anticipated the match was. The stadium seats were sold out. Madrid was playing in its usual 4-4-2 formation, Higuaín and Raúl dazzling in their white kit, while Barca players were spread out in 4-3-3 formation. Messi, Eto'o and Henry looking every bit the anxious strikers. Everything was normal. Another rivalry match between football giants was about to play out. Little did Madrid know that nothing about the match was normal. One fine afternoon, days before the match, Guardiola had called the team together for a new tactical approach. During the brief, the Spaniard had made a slight change in the way the team would play. Thierry Henry on the left wing was positioned between the opposition's right back and the centre-back, while Eto'o was put between the centre-back and the left-back. Messi, however, was placed in the middle, right between the centre-backs. The Argentinian was small. What could his dribbling do against Madrid's Cannavaro and Metzelder? Madrid's defenders, Barca fans, and the world were in for an unprecedented surprise. As soon as the match started, Messi began to drop back from the front to the midfield to get to the ball. He'd get to the ball, make a pass, dribble, or try to shoot when the opportunity comes up. 14 minutes into the game, Pep was monitoring how his new tactic was working, and Real Madrid's Higuaín scored a free header, the first goal of the match. Was this it? Despite all he'd thought it would be, was this how Barcelona would lose after placing their hopes on the new tactic? Thierry Henry couldn't let this slide, and 4 minutes later, he was retaliating via a beautiful through pass from Messi. 2 minutes later, Henry got another chance to press, but was brought down by Cannavaro. Xavi made the most of the free kick they were awarded, dropping the cross on Puyol's head to increase the team's lead. Xavi wasn't content with the one assist, and he lined up Messi's first goal in the 35th minute. The tense match went into a stalemate until the first half and further into the second half, with Ramos breaking it up with another header goal in the 56th minute. 2 minutes later, another through pass from Xavi and Henry doubled his number with a placement goal from outside the box. Messi scored another goal in the 75th minute, Peak closing the scoreline with a shot into the net in the 82nd minute. Barca won 6-2, but how successful was the false 9? In the first game where the tactic was used, Messi scored 2 goals and lined up 2 assists. Thierry Henry was able to score 2 goals by taking advantage of his positioning on the field. But more than that, Messi was involved in nearly every attack Barcelona drew up in the match. But was this only a Barcelona thing? Have other teams been able to replicate this formation when there isn't Messi on their team? If it was only successful in Barca, one might consider the tactical approach a Barca-only technique, but ever since its use in Barca, other teams have applied it to great success. Manchester United's Ten Hag employed the same tactic, using Bruno Fernandes as its false 9. They won the FA Cup using this. Until CR7's exit from Real Madrid, Benzema was also played as a false 9, providing assists and goals that made him one of the club's best forwards in history. Roberto Firmino had some of his best years at Liverpool as a false 9. Thomas Müller made 39 appearances as a false 9, scoring 8 goals and providing 12 assists. French footballer Antoine Griezmann is another stellar example of this revolutionary technique. Griezmann has employed this technique to the point where he now plays as an attacking midfielder for Atletico Madrid. There's no denying how brilliant this tactic Guardiola presented to Barca is at this point, but more than that, kudos should be given to Messi for filling the spot so perfectly. It was because of him that the position re-emerged again from its shadows. Messi has proven beyond all doubt that where brilliant players are mentioned, his name should be on the list. He did the same by bringing Pep's dreams to a reality with the false 9 position, inspiring players worldwide to use the tactic in play. Which team or player do you think will be able to embody the false 9 formation very effectively? Want to see more impressive football tactics? Subscribe to the channel and like this video for more videos like this.